One of the many things that Jedi Fallen Order does so well is its locations. They all have so much character and plenty of, unique animals. Seriously, Cal may be a Jedi, but he sure knows how to destroy a local ecosystem. Anyway, for this video, I'll be covering all the locations in the game and telling you why I found each one so interesting. Bracca is the perfect set piece to start this story off. I couldn't help but notice how well it represents the state of the galaxy. The colors are dark and gritty, the Clone Wars are over, and the ruins of the Republic and Separatists can be seen in the backdrop.
Will you look at that? A Separatist ship. Haven't seen a Luke or Hulk in ages.
Yeah. Ages.
Breaking her will be big money.
The Empire reigns supreme here. Cal's environment is basically one big workplace safety violation, and it really shows off how tough the life of a scrapper is. I also like how Bracca feels inhabited. You can listen to the other workers complain about their jobs in the Empire.
This Imperial contract is bantha voodoo. Got us paying to maintain our own equipment.
Hey, clamp it. You never know when one of those droids are listening.
It may be only one short mission, but this place has a ton of character. There's also this thing. This is actually not a Sarlacc, it's called the Ibdis Maw, and it's actually a superorganism that the Scrapper Guild feeds ship parts to. Next up is Bogano, and this place could not be more different than Bracca. I mean, look at how bright and green it is. About 5 seconds after you leave the Mantis, Seer is just like, oh, by the way, we are the only people in the galaxy who know about this place. It gives it a feeling of safety and peacefulness, and you can just imagine how Cal feels to be there after barely making it off of Bracca alive. The wildlife is cute, and even the hostile animals just look so goofy. I mean, look at this guy. This place is also full of Cordova's workshops just lying around. You can imagine his life here, just living in peace and studying everything around him. You probably noticed this massive creature off in the distance, and if you explore, you can get pretty close. Several of the planets have a giant animal, but what I love about this is that unlike on Kashyyyk or Dathomir, this one isn't getting involved in your journey. He's just taking a nap. It's perfect for Bogano. This place just feels so serene, it's like a sanctuary from the Empire. Zeffo is the biggest planet in this game and definitely the easiest to get lost in. The Imperial presence here is just the remnant of an abandoned mining operation, so there are plenty of abandoned facilities and desolate structures. It really feels like a backwater planet on the fringes of the Empire. The initial area is a deserted village, empty mining facilities, and an ancient statue, which itself has an Imperial facility inside. The massive machines make for some fun navigating. Below the surface are two ancient Zeffo tombs. Both are pretty distinct and come with their own set of puzzles. The game at times feels almost Tomb Raider-esque. The second tomb sees an Imperial incursion, and it's cool to see the Empire interacting with the tomb and its defenses. Zeffo gives the sense that the Empire is just as much as an intruder as Cal is. It has the most diversity in its locations too. Cal fights through an occupied Imperial base and a mining system just to get to the second tomb. My favorite thing here is finding and exploring the crashed Venator. It's a reminder that the Clone Wars really wasn't all that long ago. By interacting with Force memories, you learn about the Jedi Master and Apprentice that were killed here after the Venator crashed in the wake of Order 66. Part of it is flooded, and you can climb through the massive interior. These ice tunnels are pretty spectacular too, and it's almost a central hub, with elevators going to different sections of the planet. Oh shit. If you actually manage to find your way back to the Mantis after getting lost in this mess of underground tombs, mines, and ice caves, it's time to move on. Good luck finding all these collectibles though. Kashyyyk can be divided into two major areas, the Imperial Base and the Shadowlands. But first, the game hits you with its best set-piece encounter. It's no wonder this was used in the gameplay demo because it feels so awesome. Hijacking an AT-AT? I have to imagine these guys were grinning from ear to ear while blasting those rebel scum. Anyway, Kashyyyk isn't a backwater hideaway like Bogano or Zeffo. This is a war zone, and Cal fights into the base and leads a Wookiee uprising, along with Saw Gerrera's partisans. It's when Cal returns to Kashyyyk that you really get the full experience. After leaving the Imperial base, the game does a great job of making you feel like you're going deeper and deeper into the jungle. Spiders and slugs aside, in Kashyyyk, even the plants will try to eat you, or bounce you. This section lets you explore underwater, then it takes you up and up. Cal makes his way higher and higher into the origin tree until he's jumping and swinging through the canopy itself. This was one of my favorite sections of the game. Flying around on the Shio bird may have been cliche, but it did hurt when the poor bird gets blasted by the Imperials. The Ninth Sister is an intruder in what feels like a sacred place. Also, I still don't think she dies after this fight. We all know how long falls work in Star Wars. She doesn't need both her hands to survive this one. One thing I haven't covered yet is the prevalence of Clone Wars references in this game. The war only ended 5 years prior, so there are plenty of reminders, such as the crashed Venator on Zeffo or ruined Republic gunships as seen on Kashyyyk. Many of the collectibles and Force memories Cal experiences reference past events, like this grave that the natives made for clone troopers on Zeffo. And later on, we meet the last of the Night Sisters and see the abandoned temple on Ilum. It's nice to see some Clone Wars love from this game. It's also worth talking about the arena that Cal gets trapped in. It's honestly pretty jarring to go from backwater Zeffo to standing in front of a massive crowd of scum and villainy, but it's a cool moment that reminds you of the galaxy's criminal underworld. Dathomir is a stark contrast to Kashyyyk in visuals and tone. Both are wild places, but Dathomir is dark and blood red. The wildlife is ugly and dangerous. But like Zeffo, this takes place against the backdrop of an ancient tomb. Merrin is the last of the Night Sisters who were destroyed by General Grievous during the Clone Wars, and she is bitter and hostile. Meanwhile, the Night Brothers are ruled by Terran Malicos. Malicos says he gets to rule because he conquered the dark side, but it's clear that he's actually fallen to it. Dathomir may seem scary on the upper level, but that's nothing compared to the swamps. The lower level is gloomy and convoluted, and Cal struggles to survive against the poisonous, ravenous wildlife, along with hordes of dead Night Sisters. Drop into the most obvious boss room ever and encounter Gorgara. What's great about this part is that you will actually see this thing flying off in the distance earlier on. I just thought it was part of the skybox, but then you actually have to fight it. In a way, Gorgara is the exact opposite of the Shio bird, in the same way that Dathomir is the opposite of Kashyyyk. The entire planet puts you on edge and feels harrowing, as Cal needs to first sneak around and then later fight through a Night Brother village. Malicos serves as a fitting boss fight for a place that is seething with the dark side of the Force, but is essentially outside of the Empire. It is really cool to see a Jedi and Night Sister finding out how much they have in common. Both are practically the last of their kind. The trip to Ilum was one of my favorite parts of this game, and it comes at the low point of the story where Cal needs to find a new Kyber crystal. You might remember Ilum from the Clone Wars episode where Yoda leads a group of younglings to get their crystals, but the tone here is completely different. This temple has long been abandoned and is well frozen over. Cal melts the ice blocking the path in the same way that Yoda did. After getting his crystal, Cal makes a shocking discovery that the Empire has been mining Kyber from Ilum. Both from orbit and from the ground, you probably noticed the massive trench that has been opened up across Ilum's surface, the very beginnings of the planet's conversion to Starkiller Base. In addition to the Clone Wars ruins and ancient Zeffo tombs, another theme of Fallen Order's planets is the destruction caused by the Empire. We see this on Zeffo, with the mining operation and the Empire bursting unceremoniously into the second tomb to hunt Cal. We see the environmental destruction and Wookiee enslavement on Kashyyyk, and we see the planetary damage caused to Ilum by the Empire's mining operation. The locations themselves are a great way to showcase the damage caused by the Empire across the galaxy, as so many of these ancient, sacred places and natural environments get tarnished. Finally, we make it to Fortress Inquisitorius. Though not an explorable environment, this is the perfect setting for the end of the campaign. It's dark and intimidating, especially while approaching it from underwater. The Empire throws everything it has at Cal as he fights through a training room and a prison block to reach the holocron. The crew barely makes it out alive. In a sense, Jedi Fallen Order's story is told through its locations. They represent the state of the galaxy. We see Imperial dominance on Bracca, and the thriving criminal underworld in the Haxion Brood Fight Club. Bogano is a sanctuary, and Zeffo is on the fringes of the galaxy. Kashyyyk showcases life, Dathomir is dark and gloomy. While Ilum sits deserted and frozen, Fortress Inquisitorius stands tall and imposing. We see the ruins of the Clone Wars, with crashed ships on the outskirts of the galaxy and survivors like Cal and Merrin living through it all. The Empire destroys everything it touches, even the ancient Zeffo tombs that characterize each location they are found in. This is Star Wars media at its best, thematic and compelling, and these planets complement the story perfectly. I hope you all had as much fun playing this game as I did, and thank you for checking out this video. Feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed, or subscribe if you want to see my upcoming Jedi Survivor videos.